Hi there, this is Gist Nigeria. Coming up on the program, fuel scarcity. Experts debate whether or not to sustain Nigeria's subsidy payment on petrol. Also, making a difference. Machines engineer creates portable oxygen generators for hospitals after losing that. Plus, the unmarked. Logistics companies struggle in the Gambia as country lacks formal housing address system. And
I'm Samuel Okwada. Check me out.
The pharmacists connecting foreign drug manufacturers to pharmacists in Nigeria. Welcome to Gist Nigeria from the BBC and Channels Television, where we bring you stories making the rounds on social media. I am Wali Fakile. Let's start with our top story. The queues are back at filling stations in some parts of Nigeria, and so is the suffering to get fuel. On one hand, oil marketers say government is yet to pay them outstanding petrol subsidy and has stopped supplies to their depots to allow them sell for 165 naira per litre. On the other hand, the Nigerian Governors Forum is warning that sustaining subsidy payments on petrol would further bleed out the Federation account. Now, what must Nigeria do at this time to permanently resolve the supply shortfall? Gist Nigeria's Aneta Felix has been finding out.
Piles of queues are forming in and around fueling stations in Nigeria. The cars spill into streets, causing traffic for hours in major cities.
I got to filling station at Total, Amore Junction at Itoyin Street, like after 12 yesterday afternoon. But to my surprise, I left there something to 6 in the evening before I could go for work.
Nigerians consume an estimated 1 billion litres of fuel a day, powering about 12 million vehicles and 14 million power generating sets. But why are these queues unique at this time?
Logistics. There are lots of products just offshore Nigeria brought in by the NNPC. The logistics challenges consist of bringing them onshore, taking them to the filling stations and putting them into the tanks of road users.
So how then do you respond to statements by the Minister of State for Petroleum, Timi Silva, who said that the fuel queues in Nigeria are because petroleum marketers are reluctant to sell at the recommended retail price?
It is extremely expensive to bring the product from offshore to onshore. Then it's extremely expensive because the challenges we're having with electricity in the country. It's extremely expensive for the depots to run on generators, because you can't find the diesel, and when you find the diesel, it's so expensive. And it's extremely expensive to carry the product from the depots to the filling stations, again, because diesel is so expensive. It's also very expensive for the stations that run on diesel, again, because of the challenges on the national energy grid. So to run this business on a consistent basis and sell at 165 is almost impossible.
The current energy crisis is not unique to Nigeria. Globally, the international oil market is taking a nosedive due to rising prices and the war in Ukraine.
Because Nigeria does not refine internally, Nigeria has to depend on external refineries. And the external refineries are buying the crude oil at higher prices. When they sell, they have to sell at higher prices.
So on one hand, we are getting a lot of money for the crude, and because we are importing more refined products than the volume of crude that we actually sell, then what that means is that we just get money on one hand and then spend on refined products.
What exactly is fuel subsidy? Subsidies are payments government makes to suppliers of products or services so that they can sell such products or services to you at a lesser price. This means you're able to buy fuel at 165 naira per litre rather than the actual higher value because the government is paying the balance to importers. How much has the government spent on subsidies? Between 2006 and 2019, Nigeria spent 10.413 trillion naira on fuel subsidies. In 2021, government paid 1.77 trillion naira. In January and February of 2022 alone, the total cost of subsidy was 396.72 billion naira. Subsidy payments continue to run into trillions of naira, an amount the World Bank argues could be channeled to develop other sectors of the Nigerian economy. Why does the Nigerian government pay fuel subsidies? The answer dates back to the oil crisis of the 1970s. During this time, government began to sell petrol to Nigerians at a regulated price below the actual cost. With a minimum wage of 30,000 naira, experts say average Nigerians may not be able to bear the actual cost of unsubsidized petrol.
Nigerians have a history of resisting increase in the prices of petroleum products. So therefore, the government is afraid of taking any action that will make people get to the streets, because when people go to the street, it impacts on the government acceptance by citizenry, and then they are working towards an election next year, and they don't want to risk citizens' anger that could probably impact on the outcome of the election.
What are the pros and cons of subsidy payments?
It helps to reduce the impact of pricing on the poor. One of the disadvantages of subsidy is that it's going to become a burden of government expenditure. So what government should have spent to build roads, what government should have spent to provide electricity, what government should have spent on infrastructure will now be used on subsidy.
The federal government has repeatedly denied paying fuel subsidies and severally announced removing them. The latest is a statement by Finance Minister Zainab Ahmed to end subsidy in July 2022. But she backtracked, saying the timing will be problematic.
Once we remove subsidy, prices will be escalated. Prices will climb. You should be expecting over 30% inflation rate, and that will have so much impact from purchase line to sales line is going to disrupt the entire system.
Zainab Ahmed also announced a 5,000 naira transportation grant for 30 to 40 million poor Nigerians after subsidies are removed. But questions arise over the integrity of the process.
You ask the people that really need it most, and they don't get to receive this. So the guys, the middlemen that are entrusted to do this just cut corners and, kind of round trip the money back to themselves.
What social investment alternatives would you recommend for the removal of fuel subsidy?
Massive investment in mass transit. I'm talking about ferries, I'm talking about trains, intracity railway, subsidies in transportation itself.
Other experts echo these solutions.
The context of Nigeria, what will work will at best be liberalization. Allow the public entities to exist. Then you create a window of opportunities for private investors to come in. Then if the public entities will not survive the competition in terms of quality service deliverability, they will die a natural death.
We need to get the government refineries working again.
So what countries around the world can Nigeria learn from in terms of how they manage their energy issues?
Okay, I want Nigeria to learn from United Arab Emirates. What United Arab Emirates has done is it has made fuel available, is producing and also refine what it produces.
When former President Goodluck Jonathan removed subsidies on January 1st, 2012, fuel price increased from 65 naira per litre to 141 naira. This sparked nationwide protest and was a campaign point for the APC, who promised to ensure petrol sells for 40 naira per litre. Years later, subsidies are reinstated and the price and availability of fuel fluctuates, leaving Nigerians stranded on the road of an uncertain economic trajectory. Anetta Felix, Gist, Nigeria.
Interesting perspectives there. Now, should Nigeria remove subsidy on petrol? Join this conversation on our Twitter handle at Gist Nigeria TV. Would love to hear from you.